Hi everyone, my name is Callie and I decided to show you how to make a paper snowflake. Okay, so what you're going to need is just a piece of paper. I usually just use printer paper because it's available and it's easiest to use. And you're going to need good scissors. But these are sewing shears, which isn't really a good idea for paper, but they're sharp and they'll get through all the folds of the paper. So the first thing that you want to do, take the paper, hold it like this. Then you're just going to fold it over like this so you make a big triangle. Okay, after you have that, you should have a little piece right here that's kind of like a rectangle. You're just going to cut that off. Don't worry if it's not like perfectly straight cut or anything, because you're going to end up like cutting those parts off anyway later on. Okay, so now you should have a big triangle. When you open it up, it's a square. So take it, fold it in half again to make a smaller triangle. Okay, now this part is where it gets a little bit tricky. Not so bad though. So you have one side that's like it opens up, then one side that's just one. Take one of the sides, fold it like this. Not so much in thirds, I don't really know what it is, but don't worry if you have to do this part a couple times because it's a little tricky to get it right the first time. So don't worry if it's not perfect. Okay, so now you should have something that looks like this if you did it right. And then you're going to take this side, the side that you didn't fold, and just fold it over like this. Like I said, don't worry if it's not perfect, it'll turn out just fine. Okay, so now, if you did that right, you should have this. Kind of looks like an arrow, I guess, I don't know. But there should be one side, one of the two sides, that has just like a straight little flap. You're going to cut right along that. So you cut the thing, so you cut the little triangle parts off. You might want to do this like over a garbage can. I'm not. I'm just pushing all the pieces of paper onto the floor and making a mess. But yeah. Okay, so now this is your snowflake. There you go. Okay. Looks like this. So there are a couple things you could do if you want like a hole in the middle, like I made this one earlier. You know, if you want this hole right here, you could just cut this off. You could cut it off straight and it makes like a circle, or you could cut it off at an angle and it'll make like a star thing. I usually like to cut it off at an angle, I don't know. Okay, so then this is the top of your snowflake around the outer edges. So I usually like to do some like deep cuts. I don't know. Like this. And then here is what's going to be like the actual like meat of your snowflake. So what you want to do, make a bunch of, you know, like shapes, whatever, but make sure that you don't cut all of this off, all of like the fold, because that's what's going to keep it together. So you could just cut some shapes into it. You could make hearts if you want. Hearts are cool. You just gotta go like this. Make half a heart on one of the folds. Like that. Okay, so then you have this. I don't know, I like to make like triangle cuts into it because they open up and turn out really cool. But that's just me. Okay. So now you can open it up and see what it looks like if you're done. I think I'm ready. Okay. So now you got to do this really carefully because you don't want to, like, especially if you did like a lot of little cuts where there's only like a little bit of the folded paper left. Just do it carefully because if you rip that, your snowflake will most likely fall apart, and that's not fun because then you got to start over. This one looks interesting. Not bad. There you go. I made some ones earlier. This one. And this one. And one that I don't really like, so I won't show you. But yeah, so, and then if you see anything that you want to change, like if you want to cut something else out, like, I don't know, let's say like right there, you want to do like a little circle, just make sure, you can do that, you just got to make sure that you fold it the same way that you opened it, so that everything like lines up the same. But yeah, that's it. It's easy. Sorry if it got a little confusing. I tried. Okay, thanks. Bye.